Hey WILDR folks, welcome to today's mobility. You are going to need something to help you stay upright. So it could be a foam roller, broomstick, a wall, and then you're going to be kneeling on the ground, even though we're standing up. So some padding for those knees will be very important. Let's start today by bringing one foot forward into a lunge position. From there, I want you to try and scoop the pelvis under, keep these hips level, and try and get a stretch through the front of the back hip. From here, we're just gonna do tiny little circles with our pelvis over top of our femur, just to engage that area and look actively for a stretch. I'll show you this from the side. Notice how we're scooped under, we're not pressed out. Scooped under, tiny circles. For 5 seconds, I'm gonna get you to push through the back foot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now relax, that stretch will change, and I want you to chase it. Hunt it down. We can do our tiny little circles again. And for 5 more seconds, pressing through that back foot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now relax. All right, now from here, what we're gonna do is hinge and then come forward. So this is a small movement. What I want you to imagine you're doing is pressing all your weight through this femur. I want you to imagine you're pressing the femur into the hip socket. Well, it slows down the movement, and we want to be looking for a little bit of pressure through this part of the body or a stretch through the groin in here. That's gonna really help us when we go to our next section of today's movement workout, or mobility session, I suppose. Good stuff. Now from here, what I'm gonna get you to do, I'll just rotate so you can see me, is we're going to explore some internal rotation. So with our back feet exactly where it is, in line with the front knee, we're going to walk our foot over, rotating our pelvis on top of our femur, and then come back over here. So rotate, and then come back. And this should feel weird. You should also get a stretch across the outside or the inside of the hip as you're rotating. And we want to be gentle with this at first. And as we go, we can get a little bit, go a little deeper with it. And you are welcome to hinge forward slightly, but we do want to keep the back neutral. So we're not rotating through the back. All of this is coming from your pelvis, if you imagine it, moving around the femur that's on the ground. 3, 2, 1. Let's get that foot out to the side. And now we're going to hinge and come up. Hinge and come up. Now in this position, we're fighting this hip joint down to keep ourselves more or less level. And we should feel like we've got a lot of action happening in the back of the hip to help us extend here through the glutes. And maybe a little stretch through here, which is super helpful for the next part of today. And let's go into that next part. So what I want you to do is switch sides. We're gonna go other foot up. And the first thing we're gonna do, tuck our pelvis under. So tuck your tail, get a stretch through the front side of the back hip. Awesome. And we can do those tiny little circles. Now I like to plant the toes of my back foot, but you can have them flat if that works for you. And this foot, if I feel unstable, I can walk it out to the side. I can also go a little more narrow. I want you to search for that stretch. For 5 seconds, let's press through the back toes to use these muscles. 3, 2, 1. Now relax, and you'll notice that that stretch gets a little bit, it changes. And that's awesome. We're searching for deepness of that stretch. 5 more seconds, pushing through that back foot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Wonderful. Now it's hinge time. So what I want you to do, imagine this femur, we're pressing down into it, and then we're hinging Putting this foot in a place where we're not feeling a stretch through the front leg, and instead really trying to feel this right here, a little bit of pressure from the femur pressing in to the hip socket. If you're really struggling to feel this, you could take the other knee down, put it slightly forward, but it's important here that we're actively searching for either a stretch here or a pressing through the back of the hip. All right, now we get to do the fun part into our lunge position. We're going to rotate and come back. Rotate, remember, imagine your femurs sticking straight up and your pelvis is rotating on top of that femur. Like a plate spinning on top of a pole. I'm sure there's a better analogy. If you can think of one, send it my way. This is the main event for today. We really want to feel a stretch. And we can lean forward slightly. That's going to change where we can access the stretch. Might shift it more to the glute med, to the TFL. Up a little bit straighter. We might feel those high adductors more. Your job is to search and find that limitation for you and focus on that rotation. Good. Now we're going to send that leg out to the side. Again, if I can't get my hips level, then block this up with a block or a yoga block or even a kitchen chair. And then we're going to hinge forward. So my butt sends back, my chest sends forward. I'm tall through the spine. I'm feeling a stretch through here and here. I might even hit those hamstrings, might feel those hamstrings, so the back of my leg on both sides, just to finish up today. Three, two, one, and relax. Now, as you start to work on this, you might get a little sore through the muscles that we stretched today. Stick with it. If we do it every other day, we're gonna make some huge changes. All right, have a wilder one, and we'll talk to you soon.